This is Crossover. It's number 25 from Microjazz, Microjazz 1, Christopher Norton. If you play the first two bars, you'll see why it's called Crossover. And it does that quite a lot. Right, so your left hand's got to be really, really bouncy throughout all of these staccatos, and then really quite heavy on this. Now, I don't use the thumb on this crossover note, partly because your right hand's underneath, and trying to catch that on a thumb is actually quite tricky, and it doesn't give you a really good heavy accent. This accent's got to be a really quite hefty one. So I use a 2 or a 3, because then you can come down and just land on that really quite heavily, which is the kind of sound that you're after, which is not like I mean, these are really quite light, and have real lots of confidence to just do that. Right hand, 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 and a 3 E and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and just watch these slurs. These are all really nice and slurred. Treat the second one out of the last note in each slur as a staccato, so it really pings off each. And then the next little bit is staccato, and then another slur. But make sure it's not like that, but it's really exciting slurs. Now, in the middle, we've got 3, 4. Now, I tend to add a little bit of a pause on that, and also change the dynamic in the last section just to give it a little bit more oomph, because that feels to me like it's a really big hesitation right in the middle that's expecting something really quite exciting to happen. So as I come up to that, whoops, sorry. 3, 4, and... So I tend to add time to that dotted minimum, really drag it out, and then start almost piano and build back up to this really kind of exciting finish, rather than just having a mezzo forte all the way through, which I don't think is terribly interesting. Right, crossover. I'll do the right hand on its own first, just so that you can see all the fingering and everything.